Late June in Mallorca, Spain is getting seriously hot. What's life like for someone who lived in Japan for nearly 40 years and then suddenly moved to Spain? Well, nothing fancy here. Just a very laid-back daily routine. So grab a cup of tea and let's unwind together. Today, I bring out my shaved ice machine all the way from Japan. First, let's assemble it and freeze some ice. I always buy my rice in bulk 20 kilos at a time. During the summer, bugs love it. So I vacuum pack it into smaller portions. My son just started his summer break, so he's on helper duty today. Here in Mallorca, school holidays last from late June all the way to early September. So long. I'm officially jealous. We managed to vacuum pack about 10 kilos today. This should keep our life fresh and safe for the summer. Alright, time for a little snack. Let's shave some ice. I'll top it with my chilled strawberry syrup and condensed milk. One bite of this and the summer heat just melts away. Eating that shaved ice made me miss home. So, today's lunch is Japanese food. I'm making cabbage-wrapped shumai dumplings, onigiri rice bowl, and miso soup. Time to wash the rice. For the first rinse, the rice drinks up water first, so I use filtered water. Let's chop the tofu. Turn off the heat. Stir in the miso paste and green onions, and it's done. I squeeze the water out of the cabbage. And dust it with cornstarch. Then I rolled the meat filling into balls and cut them with the cabbage. The rice cooked. Onigiri tastes best when made with freshly cooked rice. But oh boy, it burns my hand. Time for lunch. Funny things about my husband. He still needs bread when with rice and miso soup. Seeing him dip his bread into miso soup or ramen roll. Yeah, that's where I really feel the culture gap. Today is the feast of St. John's. It's finally time to strain my homemade St. John's wort oil. It's been infusing out in the sun. sun for about 40 days. 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 40 days
じゃない。こっちじゃない。
Time to wake up on afternoon snacks. I'm baking milk cream sandwich rolls. My son requested them. He loves a specific Japanese store bought bread called nice stick. My motto is, if you can't buy it, make it. While the dough rests, let's make another favorite of mine, a sweet yogurt flavored drink. You might wonder, why go through the trouble of making this from scratch? Well, can I complain for just a second? The drink selection in Spain is incredibly limited. Don't people get bored? So yes, make it yourself is my only opinion.
手についているものは次の手に乗るかい？次の手に乗るかい？足の指はダメ。あ、やべえ。もう食べたの？
The bread is fresh out of the oven. Today is the final day of the season for my son's Aikido classes. He's been at it for 4 years now and just got his blue-green belt. We got back from Aikido, and I was just trying to relax on the couch with a manga. But apparently, my legs are now being used as hurdle jumps. Thank you so much for watching. In the next video, I hope to show you how much bigger our little chick has grown. See you next time.